The unexpected touch. It wasn't supposed to mean anything. It was just a foot brushing against hers under the table. Something so small, so fleeting, it could have been dismissed as accidental. But Anna froze, her breath catching in her throat like a trapped bird beating its wings against the glass. She didn't pull away immediately. Instead, she sat there, acutely aware of every nerve ending in her body screaming at her to move. And yet she didn't. The room buzzed with laughter around them. Tina's voice floated above the din, teasing her husband about his inability to bluff during their card game. "You're hopeless, darling," she said, tossing her head back with a laugh that made Anna's chest tighten. How effortless Tina looked tonight. Her curls bouncing, her eyes sparkling, completely oblivious to the storm brewing beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary evening. Anna glanced across the table at James, Tina's husband. His dark eyes met hers briefly before darting away, but not before something flickered in them. Something indecipherable, something that sent a shiver racing down her spine. Was he embarrassed? Guilty? Or had he felt it too? The strange electricity that seemed to hum between them whenever they were close. She forced herself to focus on her cards, though her fingers trembled slightly as she rearranged them. Playfully, she nudged Tina's arm. "Your turn," she said, injecting false cheer into her voice. Anything to distract herself from the chaos swirling inside her mind. But distractions only work for so long. As the night wore on, Anna found herself hyper-aware of James' presence. The way he leaned forward when he spoke. His deep voice resonating through the room. The faint scent of his cologne wafting toward her whenever he shifted in his seat. Even the way his wedding ring glinted under the soft light of the chandelier. It should have been a reminder, a barrier, a neon sign flashing "Do not cross." Instead, it felt like a challenge. When the game finally ended, Tina stretched lazily, yawning dramatically. "I think we've played enough for one night," she declared. "Let's call it a draw." James stood up, offering Anna a polite smile. "Good game," he said, his tone neutral. Yet there was a moment, a fraction of a second, when their gazes locked again, and Anna swore she saw something unspoken pass between them. Something dangerous. As they packed up the cards and tidied the living room, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental had shifted. Maybe it was nothing more than her imagination running wild. Or maybe it was the beginning of something she couldn't undo. Later, lying in bed beside her own husband, Anna stared at the ceiling, replaying the events of the night over and over in her mind. What did it all mean? And what was she supposed to do about it? For now, the answer eluded her. But one thing was certain. Life as she knew it would never be the same. Anna woke up the next morning feeling like she'd been trampled by an invisible herd of elephants. Her head throbbed, not from alcohol, she hadn't drunk much last night, but from the relentless replay of that fleeting touch under the table. Over and over, it looped in her mind like a broken record, each iteration more vivid than the last. She turned to look at Michael, her husband, who lay beside her, snoring softly. His face was relaxed in sleep, free of the worries that often creased his brow during the day. He was a good man, kind, dependable, patient, and yet, for the first time since they'd married, Anna felt guilty just looking at him. It wasn't fair to him, this gnawing sense of unease she carried. He deserved better. They both did. Pushing aside the tangled sheets, Anna slipped out of bed and padded barefoot to the kitchen. She needed coffee, strong black coffee, to anchor herself before the storm inside her threatened to spill over. As the machine gurgled to life, filling the air with the rich aroma of roasted beans, she leaned against the counter and closed her eyes. Why now? Why James? These questions ricocheted through her mind like pinballs, bouncing off walls without ever finding resolution. She had always admired James, from afar of course. He was charming, intelligent, and effortlessly funny, qualities that complemented Tina perfectly. Together, they were the kind of couple people envied, madly in love after years of marriage, still holding hands across restaurant tables, still laughing at each other's jokes. And yet, there was something about James that unsettled her. Something magnetic, almost primal, that made her feel things she didn't want to acknowledge? Was it because he represented everything stable and safe in her life? Or was it something darker, something buried deep within her subconscious? Her phone buzzed on the counter, interrupting her spiraling thoughts. It was a text from Tina. "Morning, sleepyhead. Don't forget we're hitting the mall later. Shopping therapy awaits." Anna groaned. The last thing she wanted today was to spend hours wandering through crowded stores with Tina, pretending everything was fine while secretly wrestling with emotions she couldn't name. But saying no would raise suspicions, and avoiding Tina altogether would only make things worse. So, with a heavy sigh, she typed back, "Can't wait." By mid-afternoon, Anna found herself trailing behind Tina as they strolled through the bustling mall, their arms laden with shopping bags. Tina chattered animatedly about everything and nothing, the latest gossip from their high school friends, the renovations she and James planned for their house, the new recipe she tried last week that had almost turned out edible. Anna nodded along, forcing smiles and murmured responses, all while wondering how Tina could remain so blissfully unaware of the turmoil brewing beneath the surface. "Earth to Anna." Tina waved a hand in front of her face, snapping her out of her daze. "You've barely said 2 words since we got here. What's going on with you?" Caught off guard, Anna fumbled for an excuse. "Sorry, I'm just tired. Didn't sleep well last night." Tina frowned, studying her closely. "Are you sure? You seem distracted." "I'm fine," Anna insisted, perhaps too quickly. "Really? Just work stress, you know how it is." Tina didn't look convinced, but she let it drop, linking her arm through Anna's as they continued walking. "Well, if you need to talk, you know I'm here, right? Besties forever, remember." The sincerity in Tina's voice hit Anna like a punch to the gut. How could she even entertain these feelings for James when Tina trusted her so completely? Guilt coiled tighter around her chest, squeezing until it was hard to breathe. Later that evening, as Anna unpacked her purchases, Michael walked into the room carrying a glass of wine. "Rough day?" he asked, handing it to her. She accepted it gratefully, taking a long sip before answering. "You could say that." He sat down beside her, concern etched on his face. "Want to talk about it?" For a moment, Anna considered telling him everything, the confusion, the guilt, the inexplicable pull toward James. But then she imagined the disappointment in his eyes, the betrayal, the way it would fracture their marriage beyond repair. No, some secrets were too heavy to share. Instead, she shook her head and forced a smile. "It's nothing. Just girl stuff." Michael raised an eyebrow but didn't press further. Instead, he wrapped an arm around her shoulders, pulling her close. "Whatever it is, we'll figure it out together, okay?" His words should have comforted her, but instead, they only deepened the ache in her heart. Because deep down, Anna knew she couldn't rely on anyone, not Michael, not Tina, not even herself, to navigate this mess. For now, she was alone. As she drifted off to sleep that night, one thought lingered in her mind. How do I fix what hasn't even broken yet? The next morning, Anna woke up earlier than usual, her mind still tangled in the web of thoughts that had kept her tossing and turning all night. She decided to take a walk before starting her day, a rare indulgence she hoped would clear her head. The streets of Kanu were quiet this early, bathed in soft golden sunlight filtering through the trees. Birds chirped cheerfully overhead, their songs almost mocking her inner turmoil. As she walked, Anna replayed snippets of conversations with Tina over the years. The laughter, the shared secrets, the promises they'd made to always support one another no matter what. Those memories felt like anchors now, grounding her but also weighing her down. How could she reconcile those bonds with the feelings creeping into her heart? Her phone buzzed in her pocket, startling her out of her reverie. It was Michael calling. "Hey," he said when she answered, his voice warm. "Just checking in. Everything okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine," Anna replied, forcing brightness into her tone. "Just getting some fresh air." "You sure? You sounded distant yesterday." Anna hesitated. Did everyone notice something was off lately? Or was it just paranoia gnawing at her? I'm just stressed about work, she lied smoothly. Nothing major. Well, if you need anything, call me, Michael said. Love you. Love you too. The words felt hollow on her lips, and guilt prickled at her again. Why couldn't she stop lying? When she returned home, Anna resolved to distract herself by diving into household chores. Cleaning closets, organizing drawers, it didn't matter what, as long as it kept her hands busy and her mind occupied. But even scrubbing tiles couldn't erase the image of James's smile or the memory of his foot brushing against hers. That evening, Anna received a text from Tina inviting them over for dinner. Her stomach churned at the thought of sitting across from James again, pretending everything was normal. Still, refusing would raise red flags, so she reluctantly agreed. At Tina's house, Anna tried to stay engaged in conversation, laughing at jokes and complimenting Tina's cooking. Yet every glance at James sent a jolt of electricity through her veins. He seemed unusually reserved tonight, avoiding eye contact except for brief moments when their gazes collided, leaving Anna breathless. After dessert, Tina suggested playing charades. As they paired off, Anna with James and Tina with Michael, Anna felt her pulse quicken. Standing beside him, close enough to feel his warmth, was intoxicating and terrifying all at once. When their hands accidentally brushed while reaching for a clue card, Anna nearly dropped it. Sorry, James muttered, pulling back quickly. His cheeks flushed slightly, and Anna wondered if he felt it too, the tension simmering between them. By the time they left, Anna was exhausted, emotionally drained from hours of pretending. Back at home, she collapsed onto the couch, staring blankly at the ceiling. She knew she couldn't keep going like this. Something had to give. But what? Over the next few days, Anna threw herself into work, hoping the distraction would dull the ache in her chest. Unfortunately, her efforts only amplified the problem. Every mundane task reminded her of James, the way his laugh echoed in her ears during meetings, how his cologne lingered in her memory like a ghost haunting her senses. One afternoon, Anna found herself lingering outside James's office building after dropping off documents for Tina. She told herself it was coincidence, that she simply needed to run errands nearby, but deep down she knew better. Watching him exit the building with colleagues, his face animated as he gestured emphatically, Anna felt a pang of longing mixed with shame. Why couldn't she move past this? Why did her heart race whenever he came near? Was it mere infatuation or something deeper? Later that week, Tina announced plans for a weekend getaway, a cabin retreat for the four of them. Anna panicked internally. Spending 2 days isolated in close quarters with James sounded like both heaven and hell wrapped into one unbearable package. I don't know. Anna hedged when Tina brought it up. Michael's been swamped with deadlines lately. Oh, come on, Tina pleaded. It'll be fun. Just the four of us, no distractions. Plus, James has already booked the place. Trapped, Anna forced a smile. Okay, fine. Sounds great. As the weekend approached, Anna grew increasingly anxious. She considered feigning illness, inventing emergencies, anything to avoid the trip, but ultimately she boarded the car with Michael, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. The drive to the cabin was uneventful, filled with light banter and laughter. But as soon as they arrived, Anna felt the walls closing in. The cozy atmosphere, meant to foster relaxation, only heightened her awareness of James's presence. That night, gathered around a crackling fire, Anna watched as James leaned back in his chair, his profile illuminated by flickering flames. He looked impossibly handsome, his expression thoughtful as he listened intently to Tina's stories. Anna sipped her drink, trying to focus on anything else, the stars above, the sound of crickets chirping, but her gaze kept drifting back to him. Eventually, Michael excused himself to check on their bags, leaving Anna alone with James and Tina. Seizing the opportunity, Tina stood up, stretching dramatically. I'm beat. Think I'll turn in early. James nodded, rising to follow her inside. Before stepping away, he glanced at Anna, his eyes locking onto hers for a split second longer than necessary. Heat flooded Anna's cheeks, and she quickly looked away, heart pounding. Alone by the fire, Anna stared into the flames, wondering how much longer she could resist the pull drawing her closer to disaster. The next morning, Anna woke up groggy and disoriented, the events of the previous night replaying in her mind like a bad dream. Had James really looked at her that way? Or had she imagined it, projecting her own desires onto him? Breakfast was awkward, the air thick with unspoken tension. Michael chatted animatedly about work projects, oblivious to the undercurrents swirling beneath the surface. Tina hummed along happily, slicing fruit with practiced ease, while James remained unusually quiet, his attention focused on his coffee cup. Determined to salvage the day, Tina suggested hiking to a nearby waterfall. Anna hesitated, knowing solitude might be safer, but Tina insisted. "You've been cooped up too long," she teased. "Fresh air will do you good." Reluctantly, Anna joined the group, trailing behind as they climbed winding trails surrounded by lush greenery. The scenery was breathtaking, yet Anna barely noticed. Her thoughts were consumed by James, who walked ahead with Tina, occasionally glancing back at her. At the waterfall, they paused to admire the cascading water, its roar drowning out their voices. As they snapped photos and laughed together, Anna felt momentarily transported back to simpler times, before complications, before forbidden feelings. For a fleeting moment, she allowed herself to believe things could go back to how they used to be. But reality crashed down on her during the descent. James lagged behind, claiming he needed to adjust his bootlaces. When Anna slowed to wait, he caught up to her, his expression unreadable. "We need to talk," he murmured, his voice low enough for only her to hear. Alarm bells rang in Anna's head. "About what?" she whispered, her heart hammering. James hesitated, glancing around to ensure they were alone. "I think you know." Panic surged through her. "There's nothing to talk about," she snapped, quickening her pace. "Let's catch up with the others." James grabbed her arm gently, stopping her. "Anna, please. We can't ignore this forever." His touch sent shivers down her spine, but anger flared within her. "Ignore what? There's nothing here, James. Nothing." He released her, looking wounded. "Fine. If that's what you want to believe." They rejoined the group in silence, but the damage was done. Anna spent the rest of the hike hyper-aware of James's proximity, her emotions swinging wildly between fear, guilt, and desire. Back at the cabin, Anna retreated to her room, claiming exhaustion. Lying on the bed, she buried her face in her hands, tears streaming down her cheeks. How had things gotten so complicated? And how could she possibly untangle herself from this mess? For the first time, Anna admitted the truth to herself. She was falling for James, and it terrified her. The following Monday, Anna returned to work feeling like she was wearing a mask, one that hid the storm raging inside her but slipped at inconvenient times. Her colleagues noticed something was off. "You okay, Anna?" asked Fatima, a close co-worker and mutual friend of hers and Tina's. "You seem distracted." Anna forced a laugh, brushing it off. "Just tired, I guess. Didn't sleep well over the weekend." Fatima raised an eyebrow, clearly unconvinced. "Girl, spill. What's going on? You've been acting weird ever since that cabin trip." "It's nothing," Anna insisted, though her voice wavered slightly. She hated lying to Fatima, who had always been a confidant, but how could she explain something she didn't fully understand herself? "Aha!" Fatima crossed her arms, leaning back in her chair. "Listen, whatever it is, you can talk to me. Isn't that what best friends are for?" The word besties stung, reminding Anna of Tina and the tangled web of loyalty and betrayal she currently found herself in. "Honestly, it's just stuff with Michael," she lied, hoping Fatima wouldn't press further. It wasn't entirely untrue. Her marriage felt strained lately, even if the root cause wasn't what she claimed. Fatima nodded sympathetically. "Ah, relationship woes. Been there. Want my advice? Don't let things fester. Talk to him before it blows up." Easier said than done, Anna thought grimly. If only talking could solve everything. Later that day, Anna attended a team lunch organized by their manager, Mr. Adeyemi, to celebrate hitting quarterly targets. The restaurant buzzed with chatter, laughter, and clinking glasses. As usual, Fatima sat beside Anna, regaling the table with one of her infamous stories about her eccentric uncle. Everyone laughed except Anna, whose smile felt plastered onto her face. Across the table, James sat quietly, picking at his food. Their eyes met briefly, and Anna quickly looked away, her heart skipping a beat. Was he avoiding her too? Or was it all in her head? After dessert, Fatima nudged Anna playfully. "So, when are we having our girls' night? It's been ages." Anna hesitated. A girls' night sounded like the last thing she needed right now, especially if Tina and James were invited. But refusing would only raise suspicions. "Sure," she said finally. "Let's plan it soon." As the group dispersed, James approached her under the guise of discussing a project timeline. "How are you holding up?" he murmured, keeping his voice low. Anna stiffened, glancing around to ensure no one was listening. "Fine," she replied curtly. "We shouldn't be talking like this." James sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I know, but I wanted to check on you. You seemed distant today." "I'm fine," Anna repeated, more firmly this time. "Really?" He studied her for a moment longer before nodding. "Okay. Just take care of yourself, all right?" As he walked away, Anna exhaled sharply, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Why did he keep pushing? Didn't he realize how hard it was for her to maintain this facade? That evening, Michael surprised her with dinner at home, a rare gesture that made her feel even guiltier. He set the table with candles and poured wine, looking pleased with himself. "Thought we could use a quiet night together," he said warmly. Anna smiled despite herself, touched by his effort. For a brief moment, she allowed herself to imagine a life free of complications, a life where she could love Michael wholeheartedly without shadows lurking in the corners of her mind. But as they ate, Michael broached a topic she hadn't anticipated. "Fatima mentioned you've seemed stressed lately. Is everything okay?" Caught off guard, Anna froze. "She talks too much," she muttered, attempting levity. Michael frowned, setting down his fork. "Come on, Anna. You've been different recently." "I'm not blind." His words struck her like a blow to the stomach. Different? Yes, she was different, because she couldn't stop thinking about another man. How could she possibly explain that? "I'm just juggling a lot," she said evasively. "Work, personal stuff. It's overwhelming sometimes." Michael reached across the table, taking her hand. "Whatever it is, we'll get through it together. Promise." His sincerity broke her heart a little more. She squeezed his hand, blinking back tears. "Thank you." Yet as they cleared the dishes afterward, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that promises were meaningless unless they came from a place of truth. And right now she was drowning in lies. The next morning, Anna woke up to an empty bed. Michael had left early for work, leaving behind a note on the nightstand. "Had an early meeting. See you tonight. Love you." The words felt like barbed wire wrapped around her heart. How could she face him knowing the chasm widening between them was partly her fault? She dragged herself out of bed, feeling heavy, not just physically but emotionally. Every step seemed to require monumental effort, as though gravity itself conspired against her. After showering and dressing mechanically, she decided to call Tina under the pretense of planning their upcoming girls' night. Anything to fill the silence pressing down on her. "Hey, bestie," Tina chirped when she answered. "What's up?" "I was thinking about our girls' night," Anna said, forcing cheerfulness into her tone. "Fatima mentioned it yesterday, and I figured we should lock in a date." "Oh, perfect," Tina exclaimed. "How about Friday? We can do dinner and karaoke." "Karaoke, course." Because nothing screamed awkwardness quite like belting out power ballads while secretly pining for your best friend's husband. Still, Anna agreed, knowing refusal would only invite questions she wasn't ready to answer. After hanging up, Anna spent the rest of the day avoiding thoughts of Friday by burying herself in household chores. Cleaning became her therapy, a way to channel anxiety into something productive. By the time evening rolled around, her apartment sparkled, but her mind remained cluttered. That night, Michael came home bearing takeout and a smile. "Thought we'd keep things casual tonight," he said, setting the bags on the counter. Anna forced a grin. "Sounds great." As they ate, Michael launched into a story about his day. A hilarious mishap involving a malfunctioning printer that sent papers flying across the office. Normally, Anna would have laughed along, but tonight, her chuckles felt hollow. She nodded and smiled in all the right places, yet her mind drifted elsewhere. "You're quiet tonight," Michael observed eventually, tilting his head. "Something on your mind?" "Nope," Anna replied quickly, too quickly. "Just tired." Michael studied her for a moment before shrugging. "All right. But if anything's bothering you, you know I'm here, right?" His kindness made her chest ache. Why couldn't she deserve someone like him? Someone steady, supportive, loving. Instead, she was sabotaging everything because of feelings she couldn't control. Later that week, Anna met Fatima and Tina for coffee to finalize plans for girls' night. As usual, Fatima dominated the conversation, recounting yet another tale about her eccentric uncle. This time, it involved him mistaking a stranger's car for his own and driving halfway across town before realizing his mistake. Tina burst out laughing, nearly spilling her latte. "Only your uncle, Fatima. Honestly, I think he's my spirit animal." Even Anna managed a genuine laugh, grateful for the temporary distraction. For a brief moment, she allowed herself to relax, savoring the camaraderie she'd always cherished. But then James texted Tina, asking if she needed anything from the store. Seeing his name flash across Tina's phone sent a jolt of electricity through Anna's veins. She excused herself abruptly, claiming she needed fresh air, and stepped outside. Leaning against the cafe wall, Anna closed her eyes, trying to steady her breathing. Why did every little thing involving James feel like a minefield? Even something as innocuous as a text message triggered a cascade of emotions she couldn't contain. Fatima joined her a few minutes later, concern etched on her face. "You okay? You looked like you were about to bolt." "I'm fine," Anna muttered, though her voice betrayed her. "Just overwhelmed." Fatima placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Listen, whatever's going on, you don't have to face it alone. We've got your back." Her words brought tears to Anna's eyes, guilt and gratitude warring within her. If only she could confide in Fatima, unburden herself of the weight crushing her soul. But how could she admit to betraying Tina's trust, even if only in thought? When they returned inside, Tina greeted them with a bright smile. "Ready to conquer karaoke this Friday?" Anna forced herself to nod, pasting on a brave face. "Absolutely." As they parted ways, Anna realized she was walking a tightrope. One misstep could send her plummeting into chaos. Yet despite the danger, she couldn't bring herself to step away. Not yet. Friday arrived faster than Anna had hoped. By the time evening rolled around, she was a bundle of nerves, her stomach churning like a stormy sea. She dressed carefully, choosing an outfit that struck the perfect balance between casual and put together, a subconscious attempt to project confidence she didn't feel. Tina picked her up in her usual cheerful fashion, blasting upbeat music and singing along off-key. "Karaoke warriors unite," she declared as Anna climbed into the passenger seat. Fatima joined them at the venue, already armed with snacks and a playlist full of guilty pleasures. The karaoke bar buzzed with energy, bright lights, loud music, and laughter bouncing off the walls. As they settled into their booth, Anna scanned the room anxiously, half expecting to see James walk in. Of course he wouldn't be here. This was girls' night. But paranoia had taken root in her mind, twisting every shadow into his silhouette. "All right, ladies," Fatima announced, waving a microphone dramatically. "Who's going first?" "I vote Tina," Anna said quickly, eager to avoid the spotlight. Singing would mean standing center stage, exposed. And right now exposure felt terrifying. Tina grinned, grabbing the mic, challenge accepted. She launched into a rousing rendition of Whitney Houston's I Wanna Dance with Somebody, complete with exaggerated dance moves and improvised high notes. The crowd erupted in applause, and even Anna found herself laughing despite her unease. For a fleeting moment, it felt like old times, before secrets and guilt tainted everything. Fatima went next, belting out Beyoncé's Single Ladies with such enthusiasm that several patrons joined in, turning the performance into an impromptu dance party. Anna clapped and cheered along, grateful for the distraction. Yet beneath the surface, her thoughts churned relentlessly. When Fatima handed her the mic, Anna froze. "Oh no, not me," she protested weakly. "I can't sing." "Nonsense," Fatima countered. "It's all about having fun. Besides, worst-case scenario, we'll just laugh harder." Tina chimed in, nudging her playfully. "Come on, Anna. You used to crush karaoke back in the day. Don't tell me you've lost your touch." Anna hesitated, torn between reluctance and nostalgia. Finally, she sighed and took the mic. "Fine. But don't say I didn't warn you." She chose a slow ballad, Adele's Someone Like You, hoping the somber tone might mask her inner turmoil. As the opening chords played, she closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her. Her voice trembled at first but grew steadier as she poured her heart into the lyrics. By the end of the song, the room was silent except for scattered applause. Opening her eyes, Anna saw Tina and Fatima staring at her, wide-eyed. "Wow," Tina breathed. "That was incredible." Fatima nodded emphatically. "Seriously, Anna, why do you never sing anymore? You're amazing." Anna forced a smile, brushing off their compliments. "Beginner's luck, I guess." But inside, she felt raw, as though she'd stripped away another layer of her defenses and left herself vulnerable. The lyrics had resonated too deeply, echoing emotions she couldn't suppress. Later, as they sipped drinks and debated which songs to tackle next, Fatima leaned closer to Anna. "So spill. What's really going on with you?" Caught off guard, Anna fumbled for an excuse. "Nothing, I swear. Just life stuff." Fatima narrowed her eyes skeptically. And I'm Oprah Winfrey. Look, I know something's up. You've been acting weird for weeks now. Is it Michael? Work? Or is it?" She trailed off, glancing pointedly at Tina. Anna's pulse quickened. Did Fatima suspect something? Was she fishing for information? Panic bubbled inside her, and she scrambled for a response. "No, it's not Tina or anyone else." "Really?" Fatima studied her for a moment longer before shrugging. "Okay. But if you ever want to talk, I'm here." The conversation shifted, mercifully moving away from Anna's personal life. Yet the seed of suspicion lingered, gnawing at her conscience. Could she trust Fatima or anyone with her secret? As the night wore on, Anna grew increasingly withdrawn, retreating into herself despite the lively atmosphere. When Tina suggested heading home, Anna practically leapt at the idea, claiming exhaustion. Back at her apartment, Anna collapsed onto the couch, staring blankly at the ceiling. Karaoke had been a disaster, not because of her performance, but because it had forced her to confront emotions she'd rather bury. Every note she sang felt like a confession, every lyric a reminder of the mess she'd created. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table, startling her. It was a text from James. "Hope you had fun tonight." Anna stared at the message, her heart pounding. How did he know about girls' night? Had Tina mentioned it? Or was he checking up on her? Before she could overthink it, she typed a curt reply. "I did. Thanks." His response came almost immediately. "Good. Glad to hear it." For reasons she couldn't explain. His words sent warmth spreading through her chest, but also guilt. Why did he keep reaching out? Didn't he realize how dangerous it was? As sleep eluded her once again, Anna realized something painful. The harder she tried to distance herself from James, the more entangled she became. And the tighter the knot around her heart tightened, the less air she seemed to have left to breathe. The weekend passed in a blur of restless sleep and half-hearted attempts at normalcy. By Monday morning, Anna felt like a stranger in her own life, going through the motions but disconnected from everything around her. Work provided a temporary reprieve, though even there, her mind wandered constantly. Every email notification made her heart race, wondering if it might be from James. Every glance across the office reminded her of the invisible thread pulling her toward him. Fatima cornered her during lunch, her usual bubbly demeanor replaced by uncharacteristic seriousness. "We need to talk," she said firmly, leading Anna to an empty conference room. Anna hesitated, clutching her sandwich tightly. "About what?" Fatima crossed her arms, fixing Anna with a piercing stare. "Don't play dumb. Something's eating at you and I'm not buying your life stuff excuse anymore. Spill." Anna opened her mouth to protest, but Fatima cut her off. "Look, I get it. Life is messy. Relationships are hard. But whatever this is, it's bigger than you're letting on. And honestly, you're starting to scare me." Her words landed on Anna with the force of a gut punch. Scare her? Was she that obvious? That transparent? Guilt washed over her as she realized how much her behavior must be affecting those closest to her. I don't know where to start," Anna admitted finally, her voice barely above a whisper. Fatima softened, pulling up a chair beside her. "Start anywhere. Just talk." For a moment, Anna considered confiding in her. The weight of her feelings for James, the guilt gnawing at her conscience, the fear of losing Tina's friendship forever. But the words stuck in her throat, choking her. How could she possibly explain something she didn't even fully grasp herself? "It's complicated," she said instead, tears welling in her eyes. "Really complicated." Fatima sighed, placing a comforting hand on Anna's shoulder. "Complicated doesn't mean impossible. Whatever it is, you'll figure it out. Just promise me one thing, don't shut people out. You're stronger than you think." Her kindness brought fresh tears to Anna's eyes, gratitude warring with shame. If only she could take Fatima's advice. But how could she untangle this web without hurting everyone involved? Later that day, Michael surprised her by showing up at her desk with flowers, a rare gesture that caught her completely off guard. "Thought you could use some cheering up," he said with a sheepish smile. Anna blinked, momentarily speechless. "What's this for?" "No reason," Michael replied, shrugging. "Just because." She accepted the bouquet, forcing a smile despite the lump in her throat. "Thank you. They're beautiful." As they walked to the parking lot together after work, Michael broached a topic Anna had been dreading. "You've seemed distant lately," he said carefully. "Is everything okay between us?" The question sent panic coursing through her veins. Distant. Yes, she was distant, but not because of him. Because of her. Because of James. Because of choices she couldn't undo. "We're fine," she lied quickly, avoiding his gaze. "I've just been stressed, that's all." Michael frowned, clearly unconvinced. "Stressed about what?" "Work. Us." "Work," Anna said firmly, seizing the excuse. "Deadlines, projects, all that." He nodded slowly, though skepticism lingered in his eyes. "All right. But if anything's bothering you, you know you can talk to me, right?" His sincerity broke her heart a little more. She gripped his hand tightly, blinking away tears. "I know. Thank you." That night, Anna lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying Michael's words in her mind. He deserved better than her lies, her half-truths, her fractured loyalty. Yet every time she considered confessing, terror gripped her. What would happen if she told him the truth? Would he leave her? Hate her? Forgive her? Her phone buzzed on the nightstand, startling her out of her thoughts. It was another text from James. "Can we meet tomorrow? Just for coffee. Please." Anna stared at the message, her pulse racing. Coffee. Just coffee. What harm could it do? Except everything. Meeting him alone, even casually, felt like playing with fire. Yet the thought of seeing him again sent a thrill through her chest she couldn't ignore. After agonizing for what felt like hours, she typed a reply. Fine. Tomorrow. But nothing happens beyond coffee. His response came almost instantly. Agreed. Thank you. Relief and guilt flooded her system. Why did saying yes feel like both a lifeline and a noose? The next morning, Anna woke up with a knot in her stomach so tight it felt like she'd swallowed a rock. She stared at her reflection in the bathroom mirror, searching for answers in her own eyes. What was she doing? Meeting James for coffee, even under the guise of just friends, was reckless, dangerous, irresponsible. Yet here she was, putting on lipstick and smoothing down her hair as though preparing for battle. By the time she arrived at the cafe, her nerves were shot. Every car horn, every pedestrian brushing past her on the sidewalk, seemed amplified, grating against her already frayed senses. She spotted James sitting at a corner table, his face lighting up when he saw her approach. "Hey!" he said softly, standing to greet her. His voice was gentle, almost hesitant, as though he feared startling her. "Hi," Anna replied curtly, sliding into the seat across from him. She avoided his gaze, focusing instead on the menu in front of her. The act of pretending to read gave her something to do besides confront the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. James cleared his throat, breaking the awkward silence. "Thanks for coming. I know this is complicated." Anna snorted despite herself. "Complicated doesn't even begin to cover it." He chuckled nervously, running a hand through his hair. "Fair point. Listen, I didn't want to ambush you or make things worse. I just needed to see you." Her defenses crumbled slightly at his vulnerability. "Why?" "Because..." He hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "Because I can't stop thinking about you. About us. And I don't know how to fix it, or if I even should." His honesty hit her like a freight train, leaving her breathless. Part of her wanted to run, to escape the intensity of his gaze and the weight of his words. But another part, a traitorous, selfish part, wanted to lean in to let him say more. "We can't keep doing this," she said finally, her voice trembling. "It's not fair to Tina, to Michael, to anyone." "I know," James agreed, his expression pained. "But ignoring it isn't working either. It's like, no matter how hard I try, I can't stop feeling what I feel." Neither could she. That was the problem. Their drinks arrived, providing a temporary distraction. Anna sipped her latte, letting the warmth seep into her hands. She needed something, anything, to ground her before the conversation spiraled further out of control. "So what do we do?" she asked quietly, finally meeting his eyes. "Pretend none of this exists. Keep avoiding each other until it goes away." James sighed, leaning back in his chair. "I wish I had an answer. All I know is that I don't want to lose you. Not completely. Even if that means stepping back, giving you space, whatever it takes." His words stung, partly because they mirrored her own thoughts and partly because they offered no real solution. Stepping back sounded simple in theory, but in practice, how could she distance herself from someone who occupied so much of her mind? As they finished their coffees, Anna realized the meeting had only deepened her confusion. Instead of clarity, she felt more tangled than ever. Saying goodbye to James outside the cafe, she forced a weak smile. "Take care of yourself, okay?" "You too," he replied, his tone heavy with unspoken emotion. Walking away, Anna felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. This wasn't supposed to happen. She wasn't supposed to feel this way. Yet here she was, caught in a storm of her own making. Later that evening, Tina called unexpectedly. "Hey, bestie. What are you up to?" Anna froze, guilt flooding her system. Had Tina somehow found out about the coffee meeting? No, that was impossible. Still, paranoia gripped her like a vice. "Not much," she replied cautiously. "Just relaxing after work." "Good. Listen, I've been meaning to ask. You've seemed off lately. Is everything okay?" Caught off guard, Anna fumbled for an excuse. Yeah, I'm fine. Just tired, you know. Tina didn't sound convinced. You sure? You've been distant and honestly, it's starting to worry me. I'm sorry, Anna said quickly, guilt twisting her insides. Work's been stressful, and I guess I haven't been great company. Well, don't shut me out, all right? Whatever it is, we'll figure it out together. Her words brought fresh tears to Anna's eyes. If only Tina knew the truth. If only she understood how much Anna wished she could confide in her. But how could she admit to betraying her best friend's trust? Thanks, Tina, she murmured, her voice thick with emotion. I'll try. After hanging up, Anna sank onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. Why did life have to be so impossibly complicated? Every decision felt like a choice between two equally painful paths. Michael walked in moments later, carrying takeout bags. Dinner's here, he announced cheerfully. Then, noticing her distress, his smile faded. What's wrong? Nothing, Anna lied automatically, wiping her eyes. Just tired. Michael sat beside her, concern etched on his face. You're not okay. Tell me what's going on. She shook her head, unable to form words. How could she explain the mess she'd created without destroying everything they had? For now, she settled for leaning into his embrace, letting his warmth envelop her. But even as she did, she couldn't shake the feeling that this moment, the safety of his arms, was fleeting. Sooner or later, the truth would come out. And when it did, nothing would ever be the same. The days following Anna's coffee meeting with James passed in a haze of guilt and self-recrimination. She avoided Tina's calls, claiming she was swamped with work, but the truth was she couldn't face her best friend without feeling like a fraud. Every conversation felt like walking on eggshells, each word laced with unspoken betrayal. Fatima, however, wasn't as easily deterred. She cornered Anna in the break room at work, brandishing a bag of donuts like a peace offering. Or perhaps a bribe. Spill it, she demanded, plopping down beside her. And don't give me that life stuff nonsense again. Anna groaned, reaching for a chocolate-glazed donut to buy herself time. I told you it's complicated. And I told you complicated doesn't mean unsolvable. Fatima leaned closer, lowering her voice conspiratorially. Is this about Michael? Because if he's done something. No. Anna interrupted quickly, shaking her head. It's not Michael. He's great. Fatima raised an eyebrow skeptically. Then what is it? Anna hesitated, torn between wanting to confide in someone and fearing the consequences. Finally, she settled for a vague half-truth. It's just, feel stuck. Like I've painted myself into a corner. And no matter which way I turn, I'm making things worse. Fatima studied her for a moment, clearly unsatisfied but unwilling to push too hard. Well, whatever it is, remember this. You have more strength than you give yourself credit for. And you've got people who care about you, including me. Her words brought tears to Anna's eyes, gratitude mingling with shame. If only she deserved such loyalty. Meanwhile, Tina's suspicions continued to grow. Over dinner one evening, she broached the subject with James, though her tone was light and teasing. So, any idea why Anna's been acting weird lately? James stiffened imperceptibly, his fork hovering mid-air. Weird how? Tina shrugged, twirling spaghetti around her fork. Dunno. Just distant. Like she's hiding something. His heart raced, but he masked his reaction with a casual shrug. Maybe she's stressed. Work's been crazy for everyone lately. Tina didn't look entirely convinced, but she let it drop for now. Still, the seed of doubt had been planted, and Anna's behavior over the next few days did little to dispel it. At home, Michael remained steadfast in his attempts to support Anna, though frustration simmered beneath his patience. One evening, as they sat together on the couch watching TV, he turned to her abruptly. You know I love you, right? Anna blinked, startled by the sudden declaration. Of course. Why are you saying this? Because you're shutting me out, he said gently but firmly. And it's breaking my heart. Her defenses crumbled instantly, guilt overwhelming her. I'm sorry, she whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks. I don't mean to, You don't trust me, he finished for her, his voice tinged with hurt. It's not that, she insisted, though even she wasn't sure if it was true. Did she trust him? Or was she simply too ashamed to admit the truth? Michael sighed, pulling her into his arms. Whatever it is, we'll figure it out. Together. For a brief moment, Anna allowed herself to believe him, to imagine a world where honesty could heal instead of destroy. But the image shattered as quickly as it formed, replaced by the harsh reality of her situation. Later that week, Fatima organized an impromptu lunch outing with mutual friends, dragging Anna along despite her protests. Come on, Fatima cajoled. You need a break from all this moping. Anna reluctantly agreed, grateful for the distraction. The group gathered at a lively restaurant, laughter and chatter filling the air. For the first time in weeks, Anna found herself relaxing, even laughing, as Fatima recounted yet another hilarious anecdote about her eccentric uncle. So there he is, Fatima concluded, mimicking her uncle's bewildered expression, standing in front of some poor stranger's house, holding a bag of groceries and yelling, "Who stole my driveway?" The table erupted in laughter, including Anna, whose giggles came freely for once. Felt good, normal. Almost enough to make her forget the storm raging inside her. But then her phone buzzed on the table, snapping her back to reality. It was a text from James. "Hope you're having fun. Miss you." Her stomach dropped, panic surging through her veins. She glanced around instinctively, as though expecting someone to have read the message over her shoulder. No one had, of course, but the damage was done. Her earlier levity evaporated, replaced by a fresh wave of guilt. Fatima noticed her sudden shift in mood and leaned closer. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, fine," Anna lied, forcing a smile. "Just remembered something I forgot to do." Fatima frowned but didn't press further, thankfully distracted by another friend launching into a story about their latest travel mishap. As the group dispersed after lunch, Anna lingered behind, staring blankly at her phone. What was wrong with her? Why couldn't she stop this cycle of secrecy and self-destruction? Before she could spiral further, Fatima appeared beside her, concern etched on her face. "Hey, listen. Whatever's going on, you don't have to face it alone. Promise me you'll reach out before it eats you alive." Anna nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. If only she knew how to untangle the web she'd woven, or whether untangling it would leave her completely undone. She thought she could control it. But now the truth is one text away from destroying everything. Watch part 2 of this dramaful story. I Fell for My Best Friend's Husband. Now on YouTube.